How do you guys identify this is a good spot? This is like from a land perspective, how do you find the right pieces of land? Because a lot of these towns are pretty built. How do you move something, maybe that 40 acres that hasn't been built yet? How are you guys the ones that are capable of basically moving that forward, if that makes sense?
Yeah, so a couple things there though. So first off, I don't think America's built out at all. Honestly, you could drive sometimes 10 hours and all you see is like farmland. Yeah.
100%.
I know that sounds crazy to
I,
some
I,
people, but
I know that, but I think that a lot of people think that, like,
well, if you're in Miami or
Anybody who's made the drive to Denver from St. Louis knows that to be true.
yeah, you can see farmland
that's in
forever.
the middle of Florida, man, and there's nothing there, right? Like,
That's a great point though. So like you could drive an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours without basically seeing anything but farmland. But then you hit one of the bigger cities like Kansas City or St. Louis. There's obviously many things we look for at that point. So obviously St. Louis is expanding tremendously. Daniel's from this area, so am I. So we know the area very well. I lived in Florida as well. So there are certain areas I know down there as well in like Central Florida. But for Missouri, the St. Louis district, we know it's expanding and it's growing tremendously. There is not a lot of areas, like especially Chesterfield, there's just not a lot of land. But doesn't mean you can't be creative. So when I was doing retail development, this is how I got started, is I would go assimilate. So I'd find stuff like, an old church that was for sale or something like that, or maybe it's not for sale. And I would assimilate it with other parcels that are around it because I know the value of that area. And I would get it rezoned, for residential. So that was huge. Like you got to be creative. So, and we found a lot of the best brokers out there that know how to think like that. So they look at something like, hey, so they see it on the ArcGIS map and they'll be just researching. You can stare at that thing for hours, the ArcGIS right here in St. Louis area. And each county has its own, but you sit there and look at it like, okay, I need something in Eureka because it's a 5-star school district. We've already built in Wildwood. We already built in Chesterfield. We already built in Town and Country. So we built all around there, but we want something in Eureka. So they'll go through there and ArcGIS it and specifically find any parcels of land. And as you click on it, you see who the owner is. You can see how long they've owned it. You can see a lot of details about it. And you just got to sometimes be cold calling or cold marketing, which we do a lot of that, but we have teams of people that do that. We don't do that internally anymore.